The following is a production of the Cornell University Library. Welcome to Introduction to Endnote. I'm your host, Jim Morris-Noer, and here's an outline of today's class. We'll be talking about what is Endnote and why you'd want to use it. We'll be looking at the Endnote library, and then we'll be focusing on how to get stuff from databases primarily into Endnote. And then finally we'll be ending up with a discussion of how Endnote will work with your Word documents. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start here on the main page of the Cornell University Library website, library.cornell.edu. And I'm going to just show you the citation management page. This is just as a reference for future questions you might have. We've got information here about the 3 citation management programs we support, including Endnote. The thing I wanted to draw your attention to is if you're in the College of Human Ecology or the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, you are provided through the college a site license copy for free. And so take advantage of it. The links are right there. So here we are in Endnote itself. I'm currently using Endnote 17. You can be using earlier copies or later copies. It's very similar. So what I wanted to start by was just talking a little bit about what a citation management program like Endnote is. It will do 2 things very well. So if you are doing any kind of research, which most people at Cornell are, a program like Endnote will do 2 things that are extremely helpful. One is you will have a database, which is you're looking at right now. There's nothing in there yet, but we'll get that. It's a database where you can store and organize references such as these, and then you can, and we'll go through and I'll go into detail about the Endnote library, but that's essentially what a program will do, is allow you to collect all the references for a literature review, for example, and allow you to store and organize them, add the full text if you want, and things like that. The other thing, and we'll talk about this later in the workshop, the other thing that a citation management program like Endnote will do, which will be super, super helpful, is that it will work with Microsoft Word, and it will allow you to insert citations and generate a bibliography in whatever output style you want. So here we are in the Endnote library. I'll just go through and show you the basics, and then the best thing to do is just to explore the various options by trying the program. Essentially what you're seeing here over on the left are all of your references. You can organize them into groups, which are essentially folders, and we'll look at how to create a group and a set of groups as well. And then your individual references will show up here. I mean, if you did have a group selected, you could put them all in here. They'll show up. Each one of these columns is a field that's sortable. So if you wanted to sort by journal name, you could do that. And then over here on the right will be the individual articles, references. And then if there's a full text there, it'll show up here. And if you double click on that, it will launch. Somehow it locked this right here. We'll open the PDF, and then you can go through here. And the nice thing with the built-in PDF viewer is you can do highlighting if you want to, and you can also do these notes if you click here, and then note 1, and so on. Other things to notice that with the individual references, you can each one of these is a field within the record. If you double click one of these references, it'll open up the whole record individually. So each one of these fields is fully editable. You can change things around. You can include URLs if you want to. There's also a place for notes. And if you go over here, this is kind of a cool thing that there are more fields here. So I can show the empty field. You can see all the things. This is a journal article. And there are different reference types, but there are a couple of fields where you can add your own notes. There's a notes field, and then there is a research notes field as well down here, and you can add those in. So the last thing I want to show you here, and obviously there are a lot of menu options and buttons, and so don't worry about those so much now when you're just getting used to the program. It's good to just learn the basics. And under the basics, I would show you that you can search through your library. And here, if you go, just say right here, show search panel. And depending on your version of Endnote, this may be somewhere else, but so here you can go in and I could say any field, and if I just type in a term like bacteria, it will just show me the references within my library that have that particular reference. Okay, so let's move on now to showing the basics of how to get references into your Endnote library. So we're going to start here at the Cornell University Library homepage. I'm just going to go through and show you 2 or 3 different databases. Most databases out there will work with Endnote in one way or the other. I'll just show you some of the more popular ones. I will do Web of Science. If I go in here and if I do search on honeybees, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about effective searching. Obviously, with 15,000 records, I'd want to narrow this down, but I really just want to show you how you can get the records from the database into Endnote. With Web of Science, it's really pretty easy. So, for example, if I wanted to take this entire page of references, I would just go here and say Save to Endnote Desktop. All records in the page. I'm going to save the full record and click Send. This is going to have the records, and they're going to be in a CIW format. And it's not that important to realize, recognize what that is. But here, I'm going to go ahead and double-click on this, and it will open these right in. So I don't even have to tell Endnote what these are. These were all, I did a search on honeybees. So over here, and this would be a good time to show you how you can create groups. So groups are just folders. So if I go in here and I say create group, and I put in honeybees. So now this is a folder or a group within here. And so I can take the records that were just imported, highlight them, and slide them over here, and now they're in my honeybees folder. The other thing you can do is if groups are folders, you can also create what's called a group set. So if I create a group set and I just call this entomology, you kind of get the idea here, and then you can put this into, so now honeybees, the group or folder, is part of this group set on entomology. So, and that's pretty much how it works with Web of Science. Let's take a look at another database. Let's go back here and let's do Pubmed. And this, if you're not familiar with this, this is an index from the National Library of Medicine of medical journals and their records. And again, it's not so much about effective searching at this point, but just what I want to do is I want to take my page and send to a citation manager. And then I'm going to send the number here. It's going to be 20. I'm going to create a file. This is the NBIB format. And again, it's not important you know what that is. Just remember that's what it's called. Citations 3 NBIB. I save that. And once I save those records from Pubmed into my downloads folder, I just go back into Endnote, go to File, Import File. And then I just go choose here, go to my downloads, and there's the NBIB. Go ahead and double click that. What you want to make sure is that this says Pubmed or something like that. National Library of Medicine. Depending on the file, you may have to look around. You may actually need to go here where it says other filters, and the information provider is probably the easiest because it's from the National Library of Medicine. And so I just go Pubmed. I click choose. That's the filter, which will just allow Endnote to import it and put things in the right place. And I click import, and there will be my files from Pubmed now in here. And I could take them from imported references, highlight them, slide them over into honeybees. Now let's take a look at how to import from the Cornell Library catalog. So starting here, we just click on catalog. And then I can just put in my same search terms, and my results come up. And again, most of what you're pulling up here are books, electronic or in print, and other things, theses, some microfilm, materials like that in the Cornell collection. And to get these into Endnote, I could select everything here, and then all I do is go to selected items, and then I'm going to export them into Endnote. And this is an Endnote file, so I'm going to just call this catalog search, put that in my downloads. And again, I should be able to double click on this and it will pull this in. And you can see with these records, they'll come in as books, and it will include a call number and location, and then also a link back to the record. And finally, let's take a quick peek at Google Scholar, another popular database. Just note that with citation managers, you're going to get very limited results trying to import from regular Google. The search results are just not formatted in a way. The programs like Endnote will do the best they can, but it's pretty limited. Google Scholar, on the other hand, works just fine with one very important limitation, which I will show you. So with the search here, Google Scholar is unique in that it will not allow you with Endnote in any way to save a group of records and then export them into the Endnote library. You pretty much have to do this one at a time. It's kind of a pain. It's unique to Endnote. With Zotero and Mendeley, you don't run into this issue. But anyway, so what you do here is you just click on, for any one of these records, you just click on this site, go to Endnote. It's going to save it as an Endnote export file into your downloads. And again, the same thing, you should be able to open this and it will open right away. And I can slide that over here. So that's Google Scholar. In addition to exporting from a database, you can, for certain databases, a handful of them, search them directly from within Endnote. One of these, so to do that, you just go to Tools, Online Search. And again, with your version of Endnote, this may be somewhere else, but it's essentially this online search. And then you can go in here and search within, there's a list, a long list. And so, for example, if you wanted to, you could go here and go to the Cornell University library catalog. So I'm essentially waiting for it to connect. And then I can do a honeybee search, and it found 421 records. I'm not going to bring all those in because that would be a lot of records. I will do 42. So what I'm essentially doing is searching the catalog from within Endnote. It's got limited, it doesn't have as much functionality in terms of how complex a search you can do, but in terms of ease of doing it, it's really pretty easy. And then when I've got my search results, I can just highlight them all, right click on them and go add references to, and then within my honeybees group, I'll put those over there. And then you'll notice here you can toggle back and forth between the online search mode and the what they call the local library. So now in my honeybees, I've got those search results I just got. There are a few other databases you can search as well. In addition to the library catalog, Pubmed works well. And if you're on campus, you can search Web of Science. Off campus, in my experience, it does not work. And that's pretty much it in terms of what you can do for online searching. And I will note that in addition to importing from a database and doing a direct online search of databases, you can also add references by hand. Hopefully you won't have to do this very often, but it's nice to know that it's an option. You go under References, New Reference, and then just pick your reference type. If it's a journal article, just leave it there by default. And then each one of these you would fill in, and then like so on. And then you would go ahead and save it, and it's going to save it in there. It's nice to know that it exists. If should you ever need to enter or edit a reference, you can do it. One other cool feature of Endnote that I'd like to show you is the Find Full Text feature. And to set this up, you want to go to your preferences window. So you know, wherever that is in your version of Endnote, and you want to go to Find Full Text, and under Open URL, you want to paste in the Cornell University Library open URL. There it is. It's a resolver.library.cornell address. The easiest place you can find it is if you go to the citation management website and you go under Endnote. So again, just to backtrack here, from the home page of the Cornell University Library, go to citation management and then scroll down to Endnote, and then there will be, all you have to do is, it's right here under the Endnote section. Just copy this, go into Endnote, and just go into your preferences and just paste that right in there. Once you do that, you'll be all set. And then what you can do is, you notice, you know, I've got quite a few references here. When the full text is attached, there'll be a little icon in the little paperclip icon in this leftmost column. I'm going to take a few. This obviously works best with journal articles. So I'm going to take a few of these journal articles. And what you're going to do is you're going to right click and say Find Full Text. Find Full Text. And then you can notice over here what it's going to do is it's going to take these references and go through, and if it can find it, it's going to go ahead and attach it. And you can see the paperclip icons are expanding right now. I'm actually going, and you know, it'll keep going here for a ways. So now the search is done. It actually found all 21 attachments. That's a pretty high success rate. Usually if you can get between 50 and 75% of the records to find the full text, that's actually very good. In this case, it was 100%. So for each one of these records now, there is the full text attached, and that's all you had to do. That's the Find Full Text feature, and that is super cool. So in this last section, I'm going to be showing you how to get your citations from your Endnote library into a document, either as a bibliography or a formatted paper. And there are two ways you can do this. One is quick and easy. I will show you how to do this. If you just have a series of references that you want to create a bibliography in a particular style, what you can do is, and again, I'm in Endnote 17, but up here it controls the output style you're going to be using, and you just right click on this and say Copy Formatted, and then go over to a Word document, and really it's as simple as you just paste it, and there is that. This is not, you know, in any way a formatted Endnote document. You can't, I mean, it's just a plain Word document. The other way, which is probably more likely, you're going to have something like a thesis you're working on or something like that. Here's my thesis on honeybees. And the way this works is that there is, when you install Endnote, there is it installs a little plugin that connects you know, Microsoft Word with Endnote. So in this case, you just put your cursor where you want to go, you say Insert Citation, and then this window over here pops up, and then you can do a search here, and when you find the one you want, you just double click on it, it will insert it, and it will format the bibliography down there. The other way you can do this is, if you're not exactly sure which one you want, you can go to Endnote, highlight the record, or you can do multiple ones. You can do as many as you want. And then up here, you would click on the icon for Insert Citation, and it will put those in there and format them like that. And then if you want to, you can update your style to you know, a numbered style if you'd like to do that. And it will do that. And that's pretty much it. Those are the two ways you can work with Endnote and a Word document.